going to be, we got a new release date for Godzilla versus Kong. It is actually going to be moving up to March. It was supposed to be coming out later this year, but we have some news over from what was it, Entertainment Weekly, saying that this is going to be moving up to 2 months to March. Godzilla vs. Kong gets a new release date, moving up 2 months to March. And if we did, this is coming from Entertainment Weekly, a very reputable source. Warner Brothers bumped up the release date of Godzilla vs. Kong to March 26, 2 months earlier than its previously scheduled May date. The COVID-19 pandemic previously delayed the film from November 2020. Per Warner Brothers' new release strategy, the film will be available in theaters and HBO Max simultaneously, you know, just like everything else. And the original film, well, I don't really care about the original film, but is this something right here? Is this something right here that y'all are excited about? Did you see the Kong movie with Samuel Jackson? We lost him again with Samuel Jackson that came out a few years ago, and what Godzilla vs. Monsters, which came out a few years ago. Did y'all like that? And how y'all feeling about Godzilla vs. Kong right now?
Man, I didn't see the last Kong movie, but I did see the last one. Yeah, I didn't see that one. I didn't see it.
Oh, brother, it's good.
Good.
But I did see the last Godzilla that had Bobby Brown in it from the show with the kids. I can't think of the name of the show with
Bobby
the kids.
Millie Brown.
Yeah, Bobby Millie Brown.
Millie, Bobby, whichever it is. Yeah.
She was in the last Godzilla movie, and I like Godzilla.
Yeah.
I really do. And that movie was just okay to me. It was okay. I felt like it could have been better.
Right.
So what I want to know is, I think ultimately with Godzilla versus King Kong, they're going to have them fight, but ultimately they're going to become friends somehow. And what I want to see is, how are they going to transition them to friends in a way that we've never seen before? Because the traditional way is, you know, something has them two fighting each other, and they think that they are the enemy, when the enemy is the one placating the two, and eventually they figure it out, they come together, and they beat the hell out of that enemy. But in the last Godzilla movie, there was this flying fly that was giving it to Godzilla in the beginning. Are they going to do that same type of thing with these two monsters in this movie? It's kind of what I'm wondering. I'm excited for it, but I want them to please do this thing some justice.
Maybe they'll make it a political metaphor, and they'll unite to fight against the MAGA people.
That would be right. That would be right.
I would love that right there. I would love that right there.
You have Godzilla go beat up all the trailer parks on the East Coast, and then you have King Kong go destroy all the trailer parks on the West Coast that got Confederate flags outside the trailer park. And there you go.
Now, I think this is going to be amazing because this is going to be the fourth film in this franchise. And, you know, it's just been going back and forth for me because you took the words out of my mouth, Lamont. That first Godzilla movie, it wasn't bad. It was okay, but it could have been better. You know, I had high expectations, but it was a bit disappointing.
That was Godzilla Monsters and Gods?
No. The first one. The first one.
Okay.
I forgot what year it came. I can't remember if Kong Skull Island came out first or the first Godzilla movie. I think the first Godzilla movie came out first.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and like I said, I thought it was okay. Kong Skull Island with Samuel Jackson, and they started introducing Monarch and stuff like that. I love that. That was a great movie. I loved it. I loved it. Godzilla vs. Monsters, this last one, it was okay. It was just it was a little disappointing. So I think since it's going back and forth, this one right here is just going to be stellar. I think they're going to knock it out the park. And I kind of do agree with you, just saying like there was a quote that the studio came out with saying that there's going to be a clear winner towards the end. I don't believe that. I think it's still going to be a tie, and they're going to have to team up to face some other big monster or something like that.
Right.
Maybe like a Mecha Godzilla or some other alien coming in. I don't know. But Larry, what you got, man? What you got?
I'll be honest with you. When I saw they were moving it up, it made me nervous because I don't think I've ever heard a studio moving up a movie because it was good. You know, they usually try and move it up. They usually try and move their turds up and get them out and done. So, yeah.
But Larry, don't they do the same thing with movies they push back a lot? Because early screenings, people are hating it, so they go back and push it back, trying to add edits, trying to redo a couple of cheap reshoots things. Think about
they do that.
New Mutant. They pushed that joint back like 4 years, and it was hot garbage.
No, you're right. New Mutants was terrible. They kept pushing that thing back, and I mean, but I think you're right in the sense when they pushed movies back because they figure, okay, we need to do some reshoots or we need to go re-edit. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's happening in today's COVID society. I think people just you get what you get, and I mean, they may do a few reshoots, but I don't know, man. Because I think it was originally slotted to come out like Labor Day weekend, I think, which is a big movie weekend, and then they push it up to March. That tells me that the movie's just not going to be that good, or they don't think it's going to be that good.
Or could it be just the roster? Could it be that they pushed it up because now Warner Brothers is releasing movies on the streaming apparatus the same time they're doing it in theaters? And maybe they are reorganizing things because of doing it on the stream, and they hadn't originally planned to do it on the stream. And maybe they feel like they need to fit some other things into a better scheduling throughout the year, so they move it up. What you think, B. Avery?
I think that they moved it up because Warner Brothers and Legendary are coming close to a deal to work things out, which is like this report that I have right here from the Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers and Legendary nearing deal to resolve clash over Godzilla versus Kong. And so, one of the things about this is this film cost about over $200 million.
What?
And yeah, $200 million. Mm-hmm. And Legendary, the reports were saying, financed about 75% of this.
Good.
And it was rumored that they were going to be suing Warner Brothers because, like, hey, wait a minute, if we're paying for 75% of this movie, we're going to get some say in how it's released. Okay. We want some type of return. Mm-hmm. And so because they're coming up with some type of deal, I think that's possibly why they could be moving it up. So it says a spokesman for Legendary declined to comment. If Warner Brothers this is talking about Dune. Legendary was considered the ick list of Warner Brothers financing partners to pursue litigation following the studio's surprise decision. It financed 75% of Godzilla and was prepared to accept a $225 million plus Netflix offer, for the film. So I don't know. They're working it out, and I think that's possibly why it's going to be moved up. But after the dumb decision that Warner Brothers made doing this without letting anybody know, I'm glad that things are kind of working out. Again, they're not out the woods all the way, but it looks that way. So.
I think Warner Brothers, I know you think it's a dumb decision, but I think they were in one of those situations where they thought about it and they said it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Because if they went and tried to get permission to do what they did, it would have never have happened. It would have never have happened.
Yeah, well, that is true. I'm not. I can't say that you're wrong, but at the same time, I'm just me personally, and of course, I'm not anybody. I'm not a CEO. Managing a multi-million or billion-dollar corporation, but me personally, I'm just not trying to burn bridges, but I mean, hey, they know something. I'm not in the room, and we're just gonna have to see. But
I guess they feel like they've got so much pull. What are you gonna do? You ain't going to Netflix. Nobody's going back to theaters this year because coronavirus is getting worse, and you want these properties to get out there. So what are you going to, you're not going to Marvel because you're competing with them too. So
right.
Are you going to go to a smaller distributing apparatus? You're not going to do that either. So I guess I don't think they would have done this if they didn't feel like they control the person. They control the influence. I don't think they would have done it. And I still, in my heart, I feel like they should have went and asked for permission.
Same.
However, they would have told them no, and then they couldn't have done it. But I think it's working out because the numbers for Wonder Woman's viewing on the stream was good. It's just that the only person who liked the movie was B. Avery. That's the only thing.
Right. I mean, how many times have you watched it now? 340 million times?
I think I just watched it twice, but that's all good, man. I'm still
Now, B. Avery, admit, if Wonder Woman had released to the theaters, that movie would have been a stinker. It would have tanked. It would have been, and Patty Jenkins probably would not have gotten a third shot. She wouldn't have got that third film that quickly. She only got that because she gave the okay and didn't push back on it going to streaming.
I just don't see it that way. I still think it would have made more money. You know, like
she was a company man and said, okay, let's do it. Christmas is a big movie day. Let's go ahead and put it out there because she knew that movie was a stinker.
I got you. Well,
I don't think Patty thought it was a stinker, but
people know when they put out a stinker.
I think that I don't think she thought it was a stinker. I think that she thought it was going to be reviewed better than what it was. But I definitely don't think she thought it was a stinker.
Okay.
Right on.